Good morning. I am Kelly Huggins, and I serve on the board of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. I welcome everyone to our service this morning and welcome visitors to our open and inclusive community of faith. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we explore these paths. I would like to especially welcome our visitors and welcome again those who have visited us before. Visitors, it's the custom of our congregation to invite you to stand and give your name and where you're from, if you feel comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves?
Hi everybody, my name is Anna Sitton. This is my husband Dan Sitton. We live in Colorado. It's our second time.
Welcome.
I'm Sue Gorski, and my husband and sister-in-law and brother Keith Reschke are here for our brother Dee. Yay!
Oh, welcome. Okay, well, welcome to everyone visiting today. Please join us after the service for coffee hour. We would love a chance to get to know you better. Our Congregational Life Coordinator, Mary Law, and all of our members are eager to meet you. I will also be present after the service in Creeves Hall and would be happy to speak to you as well. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors at the back of the sanctuary should anyone need to leave the service for any reason. There are chairs provided for your convenience. In the order of service, there's going to be a slight change in the order of the music just after the offertory, so look for that. As we begin our service, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karen Campbell, and behind me is the youth ensemble this year. I've been doing this for a pretty long time, and this year I'm really thrilled with the talent that I have in this group. I lost a couple other super talented people last year, then they went to college. And so they're unfortunately not playing with us, but the new people and some of the others that I had from last year have just blown me away this year. And we also got a wonderful new percussionist, our new house drummer, Christy Pinkapank. She's new to our church and she's just awesome. So I hope you enjoy Linus and Lucy.
Join together in the spirit of the season to stir hope, the vision of trust and justice over all the world, that peace and goodwill may bless and keep us in every generation.
I want to say that Karen always writes the arrangements for whatever group of instruments she has. I think that was a particularly wonderful arrangement. Yeah. Yeah. And wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
I didn't write this one. Oh. I just added oboe and trumpet to it.
It was the oboe and trumpet that made it. Yes. Okay. You are welcome to remain seated as we continue on in the Charlie Brown vein, and Sing Christmas Time is here. The words will be projected on the wall.
For this story for all ages, children may stay seated where they are. How many of you know the story of Scrooge and the Christmas Carol? All right, well, for those of you who don't, here's the story. Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge is a very stingy and very crabby old man, and he really hates Christmas. In fact, he frequently says that Christmas is a humbug. When two gentlemen ask Scrooge on Christmas Eve to give money for the poor, Scrooge says he's too busy with his own business to concern himself with the poor, and he implies that the poor should be in prison. When Scrooge's nephew, Fred, stops by and invites Scrooge to come to Christmas dinner the next day, Scrooge refuses. At the end of the workday on Christmas Eve, Scrooge berates his clerk, Bob Cratchit, for requesting the next day, Christmas Day, off from work. Scrooge leaves his place of business and returns to his home, where he sees his front door knocker change from a lion's face to what looks like the face of his old business partner, Jacob Marley, who died on Christmas Eve 7 years ago. A frightened Scrooge locks himself in his room and takes his gruel by a small fire. Suddenly, he hears a really loud clanking and banging out on the stairs, and just as suddenly, the ghost of Jacob Marley walks through, yes, through the locked door into Scrooge's room. Marley tells a scared Scrooge that he is doomed to walk the earth, unable to help humankind since he never did so when he was alive. Marley wears a very, very, very long and heavy chain and tells Scrooge that Scrooge's chain will be even longer. Scrooge points out that Marley was a good man of business, but Marley explains that humankind was his business. He offers Scrooge a chance of escaping Marley's fate by the visits of 3 spirits. The 3 spirits do come. The Ghost of Christmas Past shows Scrooge scenes from Scrooge's childhood. The Spirit shows Scrooge some of his sad Christmases and one that was very happy. The Spirit also shows Scrooge as a kind young man and his eventual change through the years to no longer caring about others, but caring only about making lots and lots of money for Marley and himself. The Ghost of Christmas Present takes Scrooge to see what the next day's Christmas will consist of. Scrooge sees a family with no money and no home trying to make a Christmas for their family. Scrooge sees into the home of his nephew Fred, and though Fred doesn't have much money, Scrooge sees the very fun and very loving Christmas party that Fred is hosting. And Scrooge gets to see his clerk, Bob Cratchit, with his family. Because Scrooge does not pay a fair wage, the Cratchits don't have much to live on. Yet they all love each other and they have a delightful Christmas together. Scrooge sees that Bob Cratchit's youngest son, Tiny Tim, who is very kind and very loving, walks with a crutch and is not well. Scrooge surprises the Spirit by showing a bit of compassion and humanity about Tim. The third spirit, the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, is very creepy and scary. Through his time spent with this spirit, Scrooge learns that Tiny Tim has died, and he sees the love and caring the Cratchits have for each other in trying to help each other cope with their grief. The ghost also shows Scrooge scenes from Scrooge's own death, and that no one is sad that he has passed. As Marley's ghost had hoped, the visits of the three spirits did transform Scrooge. He became generous towards strangers and generous towards those he knew. Because of his help, Tiny Tim did not die, but he got better. And because Scrooge was so much kinder, and he became beloved by those around him. Scrooge became respected and admired throughout London as a changed man who knows best to keep Christmas in his heart. Now we'll be singing hymn number 240, I Heard the Bells, all verses but verse 2. The words will be projected to my right. The children and youth will depart for their classes after the first verse. Please rise in body and or spirit and join us.
Compiling a holiday wish list is a delicate matter. It can be hard to think of something you really want, or at least something you want that someone could or would get for you. You want to keep your list within the bounds of practicality and propriety. and you don't want to appear greedy. But too often, when I'm asked what I want for Hanukkah, a certain wish list ennui sets in. So many possibilities, so few interesting ones. What will I ask for this year? The fuzzy slippers or the scented soap? Book or socks? Any gift is lovely, but as a gift requester, I start to feel inadequate. Maybe it's time to rethink the conventional annual exercise. What if we expanded our Christmas/Hanukkah gift list making horizons, stepped beyond the sweater perfume axis, and contemplated what we really, really want? Maybe we would start giving our family members a list that sounds like this. What I want for my holiday gift: 2 more hours in every day. My upper arms from 10 years ago. Whatever I came into this room for. A rip in the space-time continuum, opening a portal from my backyard in winter to Rocky Mountain National Park in June. Box of negative calorie Oreo cookies, and a snowba, a snow shoveling robot. My money back in my 401k, no shed pills for my dog. The coat I lost 6 months ago. A live-in masseuse. Perfect pitch. Membership in the Hostess Cupcake of the Month Club. Whatever I came back into this room for. A full-time email assistant, surgically implanted bloodstream caffeine pump, permission to myself to sit and read for an hour at a time, a clean desk every night, organic, non-polluting lawnmower, AKA a goat, a gift certificate to Prescription Drugs R Us, the power to stop time when I'm running late, night vision eyeballs, whatever I came back into this room again for. An impractical list, perhaps. But if it's the thoughts that count, I say these are some extremely useful thoughts. They certainly give Bubble Bath a run for its money. The real value of a list like this, though, is as a reminder. If you get down to asking for a goat, you already have everything you need. Family, friends, health, your children home from the holidays, for the holidays. All I'm missing is a better way to express gratitude. But I really would like the goat.
Hanukkah is only a minor Jewish holiday, and some say that it gets undue emphasis only because of its seasonal proximity to Christmas. But in recent years, Hanukkah has taken on a new significance. It has become a reminder to take a stand for minority opinions, even when they're unpopular. It's a reminder to preserve our unique identity among religious groups, to pass on to our children the pride and the confidence that are necessary to live as part of a minority religion. And Hanukkah has become a time to lift up the concept of tikkun, a Hebrew word that means to heal, repair, and transform the world. Unitarian Universalists honor the value of tikkun and joyfully celebrate all efforts to heal and repair our world and to transform our society. Naturally, just as in ancient times, there are many who say that we are simply naive, who say that our small efforts can't make a difference in the face of overwhelming opposition. And yet, we go on lighting our candles and our chalices to dispel the darkness and to send a message of hope that a few committed people can triumph over tyranny and injustice. So let us light our small candles of hope, and may they prevail against the gathering darkness, and teach us to say no when we must, and teach us to say yes when we can. When hope and courage prevail, and people of good conscience do whatever small things we can do, then peace and freedom grow in our world, as surely as the growing light blazes up brighter each holy night of Hanukkah. May the light of our faith shine.
Good morning. I'm Ann Ariano, a member of the Board of Trustees of this church and a longtime PADS volunteer.
Good morning. I'm Karen C. Morales, also a member of the board of the DupageUU Church and also a longtime PADS volunteer. And we are here today because it is our annual collection to support our church's work with PADS.
PADS, Public Action to Deliver Shelter, has been part of the identity of this church for 15 years. It has provided us a presence in the community. It has had a clear and measurable impact on the lives of people outside our church community and on those among us who have volunteered over the years. PADS is something that unites our church community, makes us better together, and allows us to live our principles. Once a month, our volunteers have helped ease the evenings and mornings for dozens of men, women, and children who have found themselves down on their luck and in need of a safe spot to sleep and a warm meal. The smile of delight from a little boy or girl seeing volunteer-made spaghetti and meatballs or homemade macaroni and cheese is all the thanks that's needed for those volunteers. Your generosity in today's special collection goes toward our PADS budget to purchase the supplies for sack lunches and hot breakfast and basic toiletries that are hard to come by. There are other ways that you can help the DupageUU Church team the fourth Wednesday and Thursday at First Congregational UCC Church in Naperville by signing up monthly in Creeves Hall or by email for various tasks. You can make and deliver part of the monthly dinner menu. You can help with setup for dinner or breakfast or morning cleanup. Overnight monitors are always needed. There are a few among us who usually volunteer for that tough spot, but it's always great to have more volunteers for that spot, so no one needs to do it every month. We even do some laundry at home. And if you like shopping, there's a job for you as well. So if you can help once in a while or are interested in joining the Transitioning PADS Committee leadership team, and thanks to those who have already stepped up to fill Jane Kwame's shoes as she steps down as chair, please see Jane. Is Jane here?
Jane. Thank you
There's
so
Jane.
much, Jane, for all of your
Jane will be downstairs in Creeves Hall alongside the sign-up board, and she can also give you more information on the roles that the leadership team or chair needs to accomplish. We are committed to continuing our involvement in PADS. You are the key to its future here. Thanks to all for your generosity today, and as usual, if you are writing a check, please note PADS collection in the memo line. And thanks for doing the work that we UUs feel is so important to acknowledge the worth and dignity of all. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Bonnie. Here's where the order of service changes. So the choir is now going to do O Magnum Mysterium with the theme of mystery in mind for December. And O Magnum Mysterium means the great mystery.
This is taken from the play Jacob Marley's Christmas Carol by Tom Mueller. The play parallels much of the Dickens' A Christmas Carol, but was written from Jacob Marley's perspective and is about Marley's redemption. You might hear about a bogle. It's a tiny little being that's been assigned to accompany Jacob Marley in the afterlife. And he will be sitting right there. Scrooge had been awake for some time when he heard the sound of laughter coming from the next room. From the room beyond came a great rolling laugh, and a rosy golden light spilled from beneath the door. "Come and know me better, man," said Christmas Present. "Fat chance of that," said Scrooge, burrowing further into his bedclothes. Then there was a sound of music and laughter. And even under his covers, Scrooge could tell that his room had been invaded, been filled with light, as if the sun had decided in the middle of the night to rise in the old man's bedroom. The light was so strong that it shone right through his several layers of frayed quilts and moth-eaten blankets, making them transparent. Even Scrooge could not ignore this phenomenon. And shielding his eyes, he poked his pointy old nose above the blankets. An immense, shining face filled his room. Scrooge fainted. "Won't hurt a bit, my dear," said the bogle. "Are you sure?" Marley had said, a little frightened. Should I do anything?" The bogle replied, "Just be patient. It's all taken care of." Suddenly, Marley felt warm, very warm, as if he stood basking before a great fire on a bitter winter night. He heard music faintly and was dimly aware, peripherally, of dancing, of celebrants, dancing attendants, leaping and whirling, clanging cymbals and tambours and drums. Then he felt the closeness of something immense, something huge moving in the air next to him. "What's this?" he cried. And then the presence entered him, and he laughed. For the first time in a very long time. At first it's difficult, even painful. And then Christmas Present takes over and it's wonderful. Marley felt the laughter rippling out of him like a wave, released, flowing, blessing everything it touches, healing and making things grow. And he saw the effect of the laughter, saw it change and heal the world, not only uplifting to the people it touched, causing them to leave their troubles for a moment to grow and expand beyond them, but the wind and the grasses, the waters and the very stars laughed along with him and sang their joy. Marley wondered. The joy inside him was stampeding out of control. He felt the light and the power coursing through him, changing him. Why didn't I know this? Why wasn't I told? You were, said the stars, blowing great raspberries at him. Marley laughed again, and he felt things cracking inside him, falling, exploding away. His old ideas, brittle shells, papier-mâché husks, all too small for him now that he knew what he knew. And he laughed and laughed. A slightly frightened Bogle inquired, "Marley, are you in there?" For Marley was transformed now, engulfed by the spirit of Christmas present. His face was as big as the sun, huge, bearded, and crowned with a holly wreath, cloaked in a long green robe trimmed with white, and a golden light rolled off him like water. "Never felt better, little imp." Then he winked and added, "Really, never felt better. Now, let's see what we can do to that sorry old gas bag, Ebenezer Scrooge." And the two of them sailed off on a cloud of laughter, trailing laughter behind them like a cloak, and everywhere they touched was blessed. Please rise in body and or spirit and join in singing hymn 235, "Deck the Hall," verses 1 and 2. The words will be right there.
The story I'm about to tell you originated in 2009 by way of a letter to the editor by Steve Dahl, who was many of you would remember Steve as a morning radio personality who was best known for his abrasive and shocking persona. This is the time of year when I like to try to get in touch with my inner Scrooge. People who know me might say that I am perfecting my crabby persona year-round, but I really like to try to dial it up for the Christmas holidays. There is nothing about Christmas that I look forward to, except for its being over. I know that sounds harsh, but the setup for Christmas is labor-intensive, and the payoff is limited. It's a very quick turnaround. My wife loves Christmas. She can't get enough of it. If there were a competition between the holiday windows at Macy's and the decorations of Christmas in my house would win, hands down. It's like living in a snow globe with 2 dogs, high heating bills, and a telephone that never stops ringing. It's not my intent to deprive anyone else of this glorious spirit of Christmas. I would just prefer not to take part in it. I mean, I already spend plenty of time with my sons, their respective ladies, and my wife. Why do I need to add 3 trees, 2,000 Italian lights, and 3 manger scenes? We also have snowmen and Christmas and Santa collections on display. Seriously, our house is decked. I'm not sure where my lack of Christmas spirit first took root. My childhood Christmases were fine. My parents were Christmas minimalists. We had a tree, and come to think of it, I put up the outdoor lights. So I wasn't always like this. I feel bad about being such a bah humbug mope. I want things to be nice for my wife. My latest affront to Christmas is the belief that we should serve chili on Christmas Day, and not the usual ham and potatoes buffet that's being pitched by my wife. Ham and potatoes always turns into getting out the good china and everybody having 3 drinking glasses. Chili is easy to make and keep warm. The kids can drop by as their obligations permit, and it's red. So far, I haven't made much progress on the chili front, but it is the perfect Christmas food. I did notice today that I was both humming and whistling several Christmas carols quietly under my breath. So maybe there's hope for me yet. Just don't tell my wife.
Please join me in the responsive reading. The words will be projected on the wall. You'll read the words in italics. As we go through this holiday time, may we take solace in the grace of the world.
Pause for a moment to look for stars and to listen to breezes
And may our spirits brighten with the lights, the attempts to turn the darkness into wonder.
May we hear the message that love is born somewhere, every minute of every day, somewhere breaking through the distressing world and offering hope.
May that hope light us through the year to come. I brought my tree down to the shore, the garland and the silver star, to find my peace and grieve no more, to heal this place inside my heart. Joy for Christmas Day.
May we be bearers of light amidst the surrounding darkness. May we reach out to others with generosity and loving care, showing them the larger side of ourselves. May we reveal to those closest to us some of the wonder and beauty of our own existence. And may we find within ourselves together the courage and determination to be that which we believe, the freedom to become that which we would become.